Hey guys, welcome to my video review of the Samsung Galaxy S6. Now I've had the pleasure to use this device for about 3 weeks. I was lucky enough to get this device from Samsung before its launch, so I'm going to be sharing my experiences with you, and we'll start off by talking about build quality. Now starting from the original Galaxy S line down to the Galaxy S5, all what we've been seeing from Samsung Galaxy S line devices is plastic, plastic, and more plastic. While the S6 really breaks off that tradition, it introduces a genuinely nice and premium looking device. It's pretty much Samsung's first ever smartphone, which I can openly say I liked in terms of build quality. I really enjoyed it. It has Gorilla Glass on its front and back. It has an aluminum build chrome on the entire sides and corners of the device. It feels very premium in the hand. It gives you that cold aluminum and metal feeling when you pick it up in the morning. It does have its downsides. For example, it does get hot. It doesn't get too hot. It's not going to start burning you, but it does get noticeably hotter than a plastic device. But then again, if you have metal and glass, you don't expect it to be cold. But it's not a huge deal here. I'm just telling you that it gets a little bit hot when you're doing intensive gaming or using the device heavily. So having glass on the front and back does have its disadvantages. It's a fingerprint magnet, as you can see right here. It's fingerprints all over the place, and it's pretty much the case with any device that has glass on the back. The good thing is you can wipe it off on pretty much any cloth, a tissue paper, the shirt you're wearing, anything can wipe all the fingerprints off quite easily. Now taking a quick tour of the device, on the bottom is where you'd find the speakers, the micro USB slot, and the 3.5mm headphone jack. Up top, the device has an IR blaster which can be used as a remote. It also has another microphone. On the left hand side of the S6 is where you'd find the volume up and down buttons, and on the right hand is where the nano SIM card slot along with the power button is located. On the back, the S6 has a 16 megapixel sensor with optical image stabilization. It's where you would also find the heart rate monitor along with the LED flash. Now the camera itself does bulge out from the device a little bit. It's not too bad, but it is an obvious thing, as you can notice right here. Now on the top front is where the device's 5 megapixel front facing camera is, along with its earpiece, sensors, and notification LED. Now on the very bottom you'd find Samsung's traditional capacitive and home buttons. The capacitive buttons do light up for a little bit when you're using them. I believe it's a few seconds, but a major improvement that's happened here is on the home button, and that is the fingerprint sensor. Now the fingerprint sensor was introduced on the S5 and the Note 4, but a huge update has been given to the S6. Unlike the S5 and the Note 4, you had to hold the device with both hands and ever so slightly gently swipe on the fingerprint sensor for it to read your fingerprint. The S6 works flawlessly. All you have to do is just touch the fingerprint sensor with the device on, and boom, you're into the phone. It's as simple as that. This is obviously something that should have been implemented when it was brought in, but it has been hugely updated, so it's a very nice welcome, and I like this feature a lot. Now the S6 has a 5.1-inch Quad HD Super AMOLED display. It has a pixel per inch density of 577, which is pretty much the best screen right now in the market for 2015. I love it. It is absolutely gorgeous. Colors look very, very nice, crisp and vivid. The blacks are also very deep. AMOLED screens have had this tradition of being very good, having very nice and saturated displays, and it's the exact same thing here too. Viewing angles are pretty brilliant. As you can see, the display almost looks like paper. You really have to take this in hand and take a closer look to determine how beautiful this display is. I can't say enough. This is pretty much the best display I've seen on a phone till date. Now, in terms of specs, the Galaxy S6 is packing Samsung's Exynos 7420 processor. It has an octa-core device, so it's packing two quad-core chipsets. One is clocked in at 1.5 gigahertz, while the other quad-core chipset is clocked in at 2.1 gigahertz. It has no SD card slot. It comes in a 32, 64, and 128 gigabyte storage variants, and it's got 3 gigs of RAM. Now, in terms of software, it's running Samsung's latest TouchWiz UI on top of Android 5.0.2 Lollipop. Now, Samsung has made some drastic changes to their TouchWiz UI in Lollipop, and these changes are obviously something that we will all looking forward to. Icons look a lot more flatter now. They still have the magazine app on the left hand side, and the settings menu also looks a lot flatter. Plus, you've got your notification shade with the regular Samsung toggles. Samsung has implemented Lollipop quite nicely to some of its apps, such as the Dialer app and the Messaging app. Plus, they've also added a new feature called the Theme Store, and this is where you find tons of themes. At the time of this review, there weren't too many, but Samsung has apparently now added a lot more. These can change the entire look of your device, starting with the font, with the wallpapers, the sounds, the animations, the icons. It really gives your device a whole new look. It's basically trying to give you more flexibility and control over just a regular Samsung TouchWiz look, and it's a nice welcome addition, and I really like this feature. Samsung's multi-window feature is still available, and it's pretty much gives you the ability to use two apps both at the same time. Not all apps can use this. A lot of apps are still getting updated to this feature, and most of the apps unfortunately don't support this, but with time I can see this getting really useful too, and this has been a very welcome feature starting from the days of the Samsung Galaxy Note series. I'm also happy to report that bloatware has been significantly cut down. I was actually surprised. Where you see Inbox, the app Inbox right there, that is to where all the pre-installed apps were. It was less than 1.5 pages. Microsoft has thrown in their apps. They come pre-installed now, and you get a few carrier apps. These can all be disabled. Unfortunately, they can't be deleted, but the fact that you can disable them is a welcome. And wow, Samsung has toned down bloatware quite a bit, and I really like this direction in which they're going to. Now let's talk a little about the camera. Now Samsung has implemented another nice feature, which is how you can launch the camera. You just pretty much double tap the home button, and if your device is locked or unlocked, it opens the camera straight away. Now speaking of the camera app, now Samsung has cleared up the camera app quite a bit. They've gotten rid of a lot of the crap. You've got some pretty decent modes. There's a Pro mode, which allows you to have manual controls and adjustments such as the ISO or the white balance. You can also choose between a set of filters. You've got your panorama and some more features as well. The camera does shoot 4K video, and it also does 1080p up to 60 frames per second. Now here are some picture samples that I took, and well, to be straightforward with you, in daylight the camera performs very well. The colors look very nice, and even in direct sunlight it performed very well. I absolutely love Samsung HDR processing. Even in indoors, the colors pop and tend to look really nice. Even in low light situations, the picture looked very bright, very clear, and very nice. For example, this cake was in a very dark room. It tended to look very nice. Selfies also look nice too outside, and even in low light situations. It does look a little grainy, but it's not too bad depending on the amount of light that was coming in when I took that low light selfie. Now in terms of performance, I'm very satisfied with the S6. It handled anything I threw at it quite nicely. Multitasking was a breeze too, and I think it's safe to say this is probably the only TouchWiz device that I've used and enjoyed, and in terms of performance, it doesn't have those weird TouchWiz lags and those TouchWiz elements that usually slow down the overall experience of the software. Everything was very smooth and fluid on the S6. It pretty much blew me away, as I was expecting to get that TouchWiz lag. It's not too bad, but it does come in at times, but it really didn't come anywhere here for me on the S6. Everything was nice, smooth, buttery, and overall it was a very nice experience. So we've praised the S6 quite a bit. We've talked about all the good things. I think it's about time we talked about some of the things which aren't very good on the Galaxy S6. And with that, I'd like to start off with battery life. Now, battery life for me personally was rough. I couldn't get more than 3.5 hours with a full days of use, and it was very inconsistent for me. At first, I was getting terrible battery life. I couldn't go for more than 2 hours. Google Play services was killing my battery for some reason. It was the top most used application on battery stats. I don't know what the hell was going on, but I do believe this is something that can be fixed with a software update. There needs to be some optimization going on, and with time and hopefully with a software fix, this should be fixed. Even though it doesn't get fixed, the Galaxy S6 does support wireless charging, both Qi and PMA standards, so you should be able to charge your device with a wireless charger. Plus it supports fast charging, so a 10-minute charge will give you an extra 4 hours of battery life, which isn't too bad, and it somehow should make up for that loss. Now, unlike the Galaxy S5, the Galaxy S6 is not water resistant. The Galaxy S5 had a IP67 rating. It was water resistant. It could be submerged into water for up to 1 meter, up to 30 minutes, but the S6 has none of that. Plus, the S6 does not have a removable back. It does not have an expandable storage, and neither does it support a removable battery. So these all three are major compromises. It really depends on your personal preference and what you use. Me personally, I don't really care about water resistance, and in terms of the removable back, it was a nice feature. You could swap it out and you could change your battery whenever you wanted. You could keep an extra battery, but now that's not going to be the case. Another thing people are bummed about is the fact that the S6 does not support expandable storage. So if you're someone who has used previous devices with an SD card, you're pretty much going to hit a roadblock here. Now, I personally have not used a micro SD card since 2012. I've been living in the cloud for 3 full years now. I'm really enjoying it, and I would definitely recommend all of you to do the same. Obviously, you can't live in the cloud with everything, such as some apps and stuff, some games, which are huge, so I would recommend going for maybe the 64 gigs if you have a lot of media and if you have a lot of pictures, games and stuff. But Samsung is giving you the flexibility in terms of storage. You are able to choose the 32, 64 or 128 gigabyte storage variants. Now, to conclude my review, from the S3, I've been waiting for a device from Samsung that really wins my heart, and I'm happy to say the S6 is that device. The S4 didn't deliver, S5 didn't deliver, but the S6 hit the spot for me, and I absolutely love this device. I'm extremely happy with it, and I'll definitely recommend it for anyone that's looking to buy a top smartphone for 2015. And anyways, guys, that's pretty much it for my full review. If you like this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, as it helps me out a lot. If you want to see more of my stuff, do subscribe to stay tuned, and thanks for watching. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section below, or you can follow me on any of my social media accounts. I'll catch you all in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.